Anyway, hello, we're back.
We're back.
We've both been on holiday. So there's been a gap. You may have noticed there was one video, another video, and not a podcast.
We've been busy.
Don't like to confuse you, but Sharon has been on a holiday to Brittany,
near Finisterre.
and I've been to Crete. So we thought this week we'd share our holidays with you. I mean, some of my holidays Sharon doesn't know about yet
No,
either.
I don't.
So
well, Jan started talking about it. I went, wait, save it for the podcast. She was telling me all her stories.
yeah. Oh yeah. So you stayed where?
Well, I tried to pronounce it to Leon, didn't I? After we had a Perros.
Oh, that was really hard, wasn't it? You
And
could
it
say
was-
it's in the area of Finisterre, wasn't it?
Boignon.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful beach called Côte de la Legend. Côte de Legend, I think.
As in legend.
As
isn't
in
it?
Legends,
Yeah.
Legends Coast. I don't know why. Beautiful beaches. We were in a kind of inlet. I wouldn't call it a harbour, although there were lots of boats there. It was like an inlet, and the snow.
There's snow. What's the snow on the beach?
That's because I was going to say the sand was as white as
The
snow.
snow. Oh, right, okay.
But the sand was beautiful white sand. I mean, it looked like I was in the Caribbean or something, apart from the temperature. But absolutely beautiful beaches. These huge big rocks everywhere.
Yes, I remember them in the photos.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever been to that bit of coast.
Yeah, and they were volcanic at one stage, but they've been there a long time. Absolutely beautiful. Quite quiet. So there wasn't a lot to do in the immediate
And
area.
that was August, wasn't it? Or was it early September?
Yes, first week of September. Yes. But the campsite was lovely. We were in what the French call a mobilum, which
yes.
we call
a mobile
home. Lovely little campsite.
Saying that though, they're not really mobile, are they?
Well, they're not.
They're more
they?
like cabins.
Like static. We would have called them static
caravans. Yeah. But it's funny how they call them mobile home. I suppose they can move them where they want to, but they're not like an American big.
You're not
RV. Is it RV they call them? Or
you're
something?
not towing them, are you?
No.
But
anyway.
But very nice.
Yeah.
It looked like it was new that season, and it had a nice little deck and a shade over the deck, so it was very nice.
It did look nice.
Looked
quite tropical.
Yes.
So even Natalie and Leon were quite impressed when they saw the pictures.
Weren't they?
Yeah, they stay on campsites all the time.
The same campsite all the time, I think.
Very often, yes.
In Cancale. So it was literally a minute's walk to the beach. So we had to walk out of our mobile home, cross another lane, up some steps, bonk, there we were on the beach. So it's beautiful. And there was just a little town near us and a couple of cafes. But that was about it.
So the town, the one you can't pronounce, isn't huge. It's just got a...
No.
Yeah. Sounds like onion.
It was a bit like
onion. Yeah. Oh, and just while I think about it, in case if you can hear water running, it's because the cat.
Sorry.
What do you call it?
Fountain.
Like a fountain for the cats is running. And yes, we're in Sharon's house.
Yes. And in case you noticed, this door used to be white. It's now green.
She's had a little bit of decoration going on.
We like it. Yeah.
I saw it for the first time today myself.
It's near Finisterre, which is on the shipping forecast for English people.
Apparently. I think we might have mentioned you were going there in the last video.
Yes.
But, yeah.
I'm now thinking perhaps I should go everywhere on the shipping forecast.
Oh, that could be a plan, couldn't it?
Because it will all be round I've probably been to a couple already. I've been to the Isle of Wight. I don't know where North at Zero, South at Zero is.
What? What's that? North at Zero?
At Zero it is.
At
South
Zero?
At Zero.
Where's that then?
I don't know. It's spelled U-T... To check. I'm going to get the shipping forecast up now, aren't I? Anyway, but I've been to the Isle of Wight. I've always wanted to go to Butt of Lewis Lighthouse. as well.
Okay.
Which is a little island off of Scotland.
I was just going to say, is that Scotland?
Yeah, I've been to Skye. So I think there's two things. There's the weather. I can't speak today. There's the weather and there's the shipping.
Okay.
So I think some things are different on each. There we go.
Another thing to point out, you may have noticed, Sharon's hair's grown.
It's very long.
She's trying to grow it out, so it's getting a bit long.
Look. And this bit here.
Yeah, I know.
It's nearly a bob, which is the general idea. Look, I've got that one up and it hasn't even got Finisterre on it. So that doesn't work.
That's rubbish.
Neither does that one.
I know nothing about the shipping forecast.
Perhaps they're more English.
It's because you used to listen to a radio show, didn't you?
Yeah, it's on Radio 4
yeah.
and they still do it. Some people go, well, why are you still doing the shipping forecast? Everybody's got sat-navs on their boats now anyway. And they say, no, some people haven't. So all the time it's needed, we will do it. Right. But there's lots of places like Dogger, Humber, Thames, Dover, White it goes. And then it goes 40s, Cromarty. We're going up to Scotland now. But that one hasn't got Finisterre on it, which I'm very disappointed about. Anywho.
Okay, so...
West Coast of Brittany.
Right.
Very pleasant.
What places did you visit while you were there?
We went to a bigger town called Morlaix, with an X on the end, so like Morlaix.
Yes, I do remember seeing it written down now. I mean, you've mentioned it a few times, but it's just registered now. Our brain is that slow.
And it was... I had some very old kind of Tudor-looking buildings. Obviously, there weren't Tudors in France.
What you mean, like as in like Le Mans and all that?
Yes,
yeah,
the
those
wood.
Old,
and a very crooked one, which was quite fun. But the most enormous viaduct. Very, very big viaduct. I'll give you a couple of pictures. You can put
I can put the pictures on, but it's hard to tell from the pictures just how tall these things are.
Yes,
really,
it's quite nice when you see it. Because it almost just turns up in the middle of the town. So if you can see a little house and then a huge viaduct, you get some kind of...
Yeah, I suppose.
Proportion then. Yeah. And we did the petit train in Morlaix. I love a petit train.
We've only ever been on one. That was when we was in the south of France. But
I bloody love them.
In a minute, when we talk about our holiday, there's loads. They get up and down the front all the time. And we were going to, and then we realised we'd already visited all the places it was going to.
Well,
so
I will say they're like tiny trains, like almost toy trains.
Yeah.
I suppose they're for children, but they're not usually full of adults.
But they do seem to have a lot of them in France.
Yes,
don't
they do. I will say this was the most disappointing petit train I've ever been.
Oh.
The train was fine, but the places it went. One we'd already walked round, and then it was taking us up roads where all the shops were closed and the buildings looked a bit run down. Why is the train going up here? So it's a bit weird.
It's probably great for kids, but if you're adults, you're expecting a bit more. What do you have to pay for that?
€8, I think.
Yeah, so the ones when we were away were €16.
Oh, that's good.
And it was an hour and a half trip.
Yeah,
or you could have a half-day trip for a bit more. Yeah.
But
anyway, so you did that.
We did. Morlaix was, nice to walk around. We had a nice lunch there. We didn't do much else, really.
You do use the beach, though, don't you?
We do use the beach. We sat on the beach. Julie took a lovely photo of a house just off the beach and then started to watercolour it. Yeah,
and I said to you when I saw that photo, it looked like a painting anyway.
It did.
It's bizarre. Of course, there are videos coming up that you may or may not want to watch of the holiday. So I'm going to try and make them short, but it's difficult when I want to put everything in there as usual.
Yes.
Yeah, as I always say, you can always fast forward. I'm turning it into more like a Foppy's France travel vlog rather than because people do tune in thinking they're going to get France and they don't always.
Perhaps you should change it to Foppy's France and Other Adventures.
Yeah, that's an idea. That is an idea.
Because
what do you think?
You've already put your London on there, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I do
just
tend to
minded
put them
that.
up as a separate video because it's not France, so I just put them our holidays. So I've sort of changed it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Duncan tends to worry that no one wants to see those, but obviously some do because we did get some views. But
well, you got to put them up now for the taxi driver as well, haven't you?
yes, yeah.
No, not taxi driver, car hire.
Car hire, sorry. Yeah. No, because, yeah, so we went to Crete and stayed in Analipsi, and it's obviously, I think would you call it the north of the island? Yeah, because it's on the top, so it's on the north of the island. Flew into Heraklion, and saw lots of Knossos towns. They all seem to end up in not on Knossos, but it's sort of central at the top because Heraklion is central-ish, I think.
Okay.
That's where the airport is, and then we were only, I think it's 20 minutes away from the airport.
Okay.
So that could have been a downside because you've got planes going over quite a lot, but you just sort of get used to it after a while and you don't notice it. But it's obviously at the same time very handy because then you knew you hadn't got this long transfer from the plane to where we were staying. And we stayed in this family-run hotel. I call it a hotel, but it's not really a hotel either. It's more like a site with lots of rooms on it. It was called Paul Marie. And I found out on the last day because we'd found out a few of the staff names, and then I said, hang on a minute, I've got a feeling that Paul and that Marie might be the owner's kids, and they've named it after it. It turned out I was right. And so we got talking to them, but what the owner did, he planned it that he would set the site out as in almost like a little village. So it was always like little, as I've in the videos I've tried to show, and Duncan has done it as well, these little paved pathways, and then there's all these little houses all around, white, and they're just beautiful bougainvillea over everything. I was quite emotional when I got there. I said, "Is it beautiful?"
Yeah.
It was just so nicely set up, and this is really sweet. It wasn't one of the poshest hotels or places to stay. That, as we found out later, along the front there's lots of other big places but you got to pay a lot of money for, which is like these big, huge mattress size sunbeds and individual pools, all that. We didn't have any of that, but it was nice because it was family run. It was a bit slightly more personal, and it's just cute. I mean, because we went with it's called Fram, it's the company that does the packages, and it was a French one, so there was a lot of French there. We hardly heard an English voice at all. But it was also quite a lot of German. There's German and French staying there, so we didn't get a lot of conversation going on a lot of the time. Some of the French we tried to, but it's that same old thing. If they know you're English, they're scared to talk to you. But it's all right because Duncan and I are quite happy just doing our own thing, so that wasn't that much of a problem. And also the staff spoke very good English, as quite a lot of these places do. Yeah. And they do understand, as some of the French understand, that Greek isn't an easy language to learn.
Definitely not, because obviously it's a different alphabet as well,
yeah.
isn't it?
And every sign might have it in English here and there, but then it'll be in Greek, and then it'll have another weird writing. I don't know what the other one is, but it was very confusing.
Is it Cyrillic alphabet?
Possibly, I don't know, but so it was.
Or is that the Russian one, or are they the same?
But anyway, so we were there for 2 weeks, and right in a week in the middle, we hired a car for just a little Toyota Igo.
There you go. That's the Greek alphabet.
Yeah.
And I imagine that perhaps sometimes they write the words out that sound the same to them, but in our alphabet, if you see what I mean. So probably like the airport Heraklion is using it's not the English, but English alphabet pronounced how they hear it in Greek using this alphabet.
Yeah, it must be really confusing for them. But they say most places could speak English, so it was, you know, you think, bless them, you know, they're trying and they know they need the tourism and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, just saying, we hired this car, so it meant we could then just go further afield. So we went up into the mountains, visited some beautiful, really, like what you want to, well, I suppose, authentic. I mean, and the only thing that we did feel a little bit uncomfortable about was that a coach load turned up, and we can sort of lose ourselves amongst everything because it's just the two of us. But if a load of people turn up, you can imagine them feeling really. I know they know what they want, the tourism, but you can imagine them sort of thinking, "Oh, just leave us alone."
I think it's very similar to when you're in a town and a cruise ship pulls in.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to think where we were in Italy, and suddenly the town was awash with Americans. All came at once, and I thought, I bet that's a cruise ship.
That's probably Sorrento or something, because they tend to head there, don't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, we did feel a little bit awkward, a bit like that. But on one of the towns we went, there were so many trees, there was so much shade, and it was just so comfortable because of that. And we stopped and had an iced coffee. It was a Freddo cappuccino. We had loads of those, and so we stopped and had that, and it just felt, I don't know, it was just really lovely. All the furniture was painted green, and it was just a really old feel about it, and the people were friendly and that. But they I don't know if they got a child to do it or whether it was just somebody, just the way they draw and things. But they made an English menu.
Oh.
With this, and it was like a child's drawing on the front, and that, and I've got pictures of that as well, and that was really lovely but the funny thing is, like here sometimes because you're in another country and you can read it. It took a while to realise that they'd done this. They'd made it into English. Like in France, sometimes I think, I'm understanding this. That's because it's English. It's not French. It's that sort of weird feeling. But anyway, so we had that.
Did you get little snacks as well?
Sometimes you give little bowls of olives or stuff with you. Usually with the alcohol, though, not so much with the coffee. But yeah, we didn't have anything to eat there because we was on the pension, which is half board. We sort of more or less. No, I don't usually have breakfast, but it was holiday, so we had breakfast in the morning. So then we just only have a donut occasionally at lunchtime.
Now it's all coming out.
And then in the evening it was the usual buffet food. But this little place was lovely, as I say, and these people turned up, and I just felt a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I got a picture where there was these. It was what I loved, and I suppose you get it a bit in France as well, was in some of these villages you get all the old boys sitting around having a coffee. And you might have said to Duncan, I'd love to know what they're talking about. They're probably talking about the war, or when I said there were some women in one of the groups, and I said, I bet they all knew each other since they were kids, that sort of thing. It was lovely. And one lot were getting really loud and everything. I mean, I looked, they were just playing cards, but getting really excited about it.
Yeah.
So I just sort of crafty snap of the camera there because I didn't want to make it all too blatantly amateurist, you know. And there was another little old lady I've got pictures of as well, where she was, when we sat down, we kept hearing this bang, 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 and she looked, well, you'll see the pictures, she just looks like a little Greek old lady. It was strange that, but there was all these things, clothes, crocheted and knitted clothes and doilies, all this sort of stuff hanging up outside where she was. And I said to her, I've got to buy something from there before we go. And I bought this tiny little, like a little backpack, little cloth one. It was €10, which was a lot for what it was, but I thought, no, this little old lady's made this. But also, when we got closer, this hammering she was doing she was hammering the olives.
Oh.
Individually. She
hammered olives?
Yeah, so she's doing this, smash, smash. And because when my son, Alan, he saw the video, he said, has anybody told her she could get a bigger hammer? It's tiny little, But she was so sweet, and she tried to talk to us. There's no English, but she did try to sort of say, she knew an odd word here and there, I suppose. And I said, can I film you doing that, so I did a tiny little video of her doing this, and she was so sweet. I said, "No, I've definitely got to get the bag," so I got that. And but it was quite, because it was in the hills. A lot of streets were quite steep.
Yes.
And we've done quite a lot of walking, and it was quite warm. So even though we could get shade here and there, so I just thought, are we going to go up there? So we just let all the younger people do that.
Yeah.
But so there's quite a few little towns like that, and but say most of the eating was done on site because that's what we'd paid for, and we did a lot of eating. I mean, normally at home you'd have one plate. Yes. Wouldn't it? But there we was going up for a little bit of starter, and then later on we'd go back and have the first couple of days we really over it because we thought it's just too tasty. And one thing I will say is they didn't make everything English. Good. Which is good because obviously I have French and Germans there, but you end up these places doing lots of English food, and we wanted the authentic Greek food, and that's what they did. I mean, the moussaka was to die for. Yeah. But I mean, she did a few other bits and pieces, but the cook was so good, and we just kept thanking her. And I said, I want to say to her, I'm going to take you home so you can cook for me. But I was a bit worried I'd say something wrong, and she'd be like, think I'm a bit weird.
I'm going to kidnap you. Hold you for ransom.
Yeah, exactly. But no, she was lovely, and the desserts were, I mean, they were all just huge cream. I don't even know if it was a proper cream actually, but there was lots of really thick cream on top of the cakes and stuff. And there was one that was a really strange one, which we're still not sure if we liked it. Have you heard of angel hair? Yes. It's like the pasta. Well, she used that on the base. She cooked it and put it in syrup and stuff. Yes. And made that was the base, and then the rest of it built up from that. Yeah. And we couldn't work it out. So what she made this from? And so we asked Valentina, the waitress, and she said that's what it was. I think it translates as angel hair. So I've never heard of anybody using that as a dessert. You get those kind of baklava type things, isn't it? Yeah, she made some of those as well. Wispy like that. Was loads of stuff in phyllo pastry. Because they use that a lot, don't they? Yeah. That and syrup and honey, and so there was quite a lot of desserts with that. But I mean, to die for. I mean, one of my best meals, believe it or not, was veal, which was all the meat she cooked perfection. It was just so I'm salivating here. Just thinking about it. Yeah. It was just so soft to eat, and the veal was absolute. Duncan doesn't normally eat veal. But the choice that night, he said, no, I'm going to have that. But it was just, the sauce that was in was, and it was just mashed potato with it. But it was one of the best meals we'd had when we were there. I just kept thinking about it. I was so tempted to go for another portion. But no, Joe, leave room for dessert, obviously. So you just had your normal carafe of wine and that with it. And So we did have moussaka, a bit of lasagna another night. There was always the salad thing, like tomatoes and cucumber with feta cheese. They were always there. Yes. And the amount of times you went, if you didn't get there quick enough, the amount of people that took off the feta cheese and didn't take the cucumber. See, that's naughty. It is Somebody naughty. Should say to them, you eat your greens or you don't get your pudding. Exactly. So we did see them. That's the other thing. No matter what time you went, there was always food there. They hadn't run out. They topped up regular. It was really, really good. See, I prefer a little family-run hotel like that. You know, I don't like the big it's silly to say I don't like a big luxurious hotel, but I don't see the need for it. No, unless you are going to be one of those people, as you're saying, just by the pool, then you perhaps want all the luxury around you. Yeah. But if it's for somewhere to sleep, as long as it's clean and tidy. Oh, this was. Yeah, I mean, it was. You could say in the photos you'll see that it looks a little bit dated, but it's all still fresh. It's been all the walls are still painted white, and it's really fresh, and you can tell the thought that's gone into how it's set out. Yeah. But we had the towels and bedding was changed every other day, which I thought was excellent. Yeah. And at one point I moved into the living room, as I did on the London holiday, some of you might remember, because of, not apart from the fact it was really hot and the AC was a little bit noisy, I was sleeping like this because I was getting wound up with the noise and the heat. So I said, right, I'm going to move. And I moved into the living area, which had 2 sofa beds. Didn't realise how they worked the first night, so I just laid on the sofa as it was, which was a bit firm. But then the next night, we pull it out and it comes out to like a single bed. But then they had mattress toppers underneath, so put that on. So I set it up properly. The only trouble is we only had 1 double sheet between us. But Duncan was sleeping without a sheet on him because it was so hot. Whereas I like the coziness of whether even if it is just a sheet on top of me. And so we just sort of left it all there when we went to breakfast, and then we went out for the day, come back, and they'd set that bed up for me. So and I was saying to Sharon, I wonder if they were thinking, what's happened there? Have they had a row? It's just snoring, what's going on there?
But they did had all scenarios.
Yeah, but they just set it up, both beds for us, and we both had a sheet. So that was it worked out really well. So we obviously left him a tip at the end of the holiday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we didn't use the pool at all because Duncan can swim, but we're not even sit around the pool much, really. But we did.
You did more than I've ever seen you do.
Duncan read nearly 4 books while I was away.
Good.
He just doesn't do that, yeah.
I'm pleased he sat relaxed and read a book.
And I read about a third of a book. You know what I'm like?
Yeah.
I'd start reading it, sitting on the bed and sound asleep again. So I didn't read it very much. What are you looking for, the cat?
I'm just checking on the kitten,
Yeah, she's got a new kitten. I
will introduce you at some stage. I'm not waking her up specially.
Yeah, she so we got distracted now. What about reading? Yeah, yes. So we did actually sit around the pool
and read
in the shade. But neither of us are very brown, but we did get any colour we got was just pure coincidental from walking around because we're not sunbathers. So we just sat under the umbrellas and just relaxed really. We both sat and read a book.
What did Dunk read? Do you know?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. You'd have to ask him.
Find out.
But
we'll give
I think there was an Arthur C. Clarke at one of them.
Okay.
But other than that,
this is actual books rather than Kindle.
It's on the Kindle.
It's on the Kindle.
Well, we didn't have room because we hadn't. That was the cat food. Sound like a parrot.
Is the way I call him?
Yeah.
Shall just check if he wants to come in.
Okay.
Seeing as the food has called him.
Yeah. He might hear from a distance, mightn't
he? He knows the time normally. He's going to come in. Come on then.
It's coming in.
Is it lunchtime?
You've been called, Marco. Your food's there. Look, Lottie's coming to see him as well.
She loves him. Yeah, how are you, big boy? Come here, give me a cuddle. Oh, you won't cuddle. Oh, no, he's not going to cuddle. He's like, put me down, put me down. That's my big boy. He wasn't well yesterday. I had to take him to the vet.
Yeah, it was ill, got high temperature from a tick.
Yeah, I think perhaps he had a tick bite or something.
But thankfully he's okay now. So we did relax a lot more than we normally would. Apart from the week where we had the car, obviously we went out and about, but the days either side of that we did relax. So we was quite shocked with ourselves. We said, look at us sitting there on a sunbed reading.
I sent you a message back, didn't I? Saying, see, I told you could do it.
But Duncan needed it, but we do find it hard. We see other people just sat around the pool all day and we just cannot do that.
Yeah.
It's the same as did a walk up on the last day on the front and just saw these people on sunbeds and we're going, can't do that.
I can for a little while. I don't mind doing it for a little while.
The sunbed is not the problem. I could do that for a while, but on the beach as well, I can't deal with sand very well.
No.
I mean, we did have a little walk on the day before we left to the end of the beach front where there was not animal refuge. It was like a what they call them, you know, got all the sand dunes and that, but it's like a nature reserve. It's that sort of thing.
Nature reserve, yeah.
So I had to walk on the beach there. I had no choice because that was the only way to it. But I do find it quite hard to walk on the beach.
Well,
it is hard work, isn't it?
Because it's like walking in mud as well, isn't it? It's soft, so you have to use your muscles in a different way.
Yeah, if anything, I remember when we was in the south of France walking on the beach there, but we went on the compact wet beach and it was easier to walk on there.
Definitely is.
But so it's all in the videos anyway. But I'm trying to think what else we saw. We went to an open air museum where it was. Someone had built this big stone house. I remember I said to you, it reminded me of Roberta Townhouse in the... so this nature reserve thing was a bit of a disappointment. I was hoping to see lots of different animals and things there, but it's a bit abused a bit. The quad bikes were going on the sand at the tracks, and I don't think they were supposed to, because when we first got there was the police car sat by the gate, so I think they were keeping an eye on that. And other than that, there was signs of people having dumped building rubble and stuff on it, and that's
nice, is it?
So it's but overall it was a good experience. Lots of different things seen and everything, and learning how they live. I'm not sure I could live there, and obviously the weather's lovely, but I don't know. They're not very good at paying their taxes in Crete, so lots of things don't get done. So there's quite a lot of rubbish and stuff. But it's always good to experience another country. And
is that the first time you've been to Greece?
I went to mainland Greece to, I think it was Corfu, but that was about 30 years
it's just
ago.
A different island.
Yeah. But this it is a different island. That's true. So but. I mean, so the people were lovely. I was disappointed. I said to you about the airport coming back. It was just crammed because normally when you go to an airport, you've got those barriers, haven't you? So you know where you're walking and following to be a bit of a snake walk. They didn't have that, so it was people were here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And I thought someone's going to end up on the wrong plane at this rate, but no. But then you got to the other side. That was the other thing. Once you got through. It was all quite quick, didn't have time to sit around, so we've queued and checked in, then you queued to do the baggage check, and then you got up the other side, and then there was these really nice posh shops there, all perfume shops.
Oh, just perfume.
Someone's obviously paying for them to store their perfume there or something, and it wasn't cheap, so they're obviously thinking that's what people want.
Yeah.
But it was all perfume.
No alcohol.
There might have been a little bit, but it was perfume that stood out. Yeah. So.
Did you try any ouzo while you were there?
No, because it's the same as pastis, isn't it? Well, no, I didn't. The waitress misunderstood us one night, and we was asking for water. And I don't know if it was noisy or what, but she thought we said ouzo, and so she brought it up, and we're looking at her, and she could tell by our faces that. Went to order that, and she put it down, and then she went, "Oh, sorry, I must have misunderstood." And then she said, "I'll have it anyway. I won't put it on the bill." So we did have a little bit of a taste, but you got to be in a mood for aniseed, haven't you?
Yeah, it's too much for me.
Yeah, it was a little bit. So we didn't even finish it because we'd got our wine and we'd got some, water and that, and it was too much of a mix. But bless her, so I have no idea what she thought. Obviously, she thought we said ouzo, but we didn't. We said water. But so in the end, the bar was around the pool was nice with snacks there. A couple of days at lunchtime, but we shouldn't have because it was far too much. Because we think your snack and it come up and it was, you get like a pita bread with the meat in and everything, but we didn't expect it to come rammed with chips as well.
Right, yes.
And another time I had the burger, and I asked for a simple burger. She wanted a simple burger. Now, have in mind, I'm thinking simple, that's fine, it'd be small. Then she said the simple burger doesn't come with chips. And because she mentioned the word chips, I I'll have to go for the other one there because I've got to have chips.
Yeah. Don't say chips.
So I ended up in this burger. I couldn't eat it, or I ended up giving it to Duncan. And that night we were both, after the evening meal, we're rolling around bed like, I can't eat anymore. But you do because you've already paid for it.
Yes, it does.
So it does make you think.
It does make you think like that, doesn't it?
So But I don't weigh myself. I know I must have put some on, but I'm not going to weigh myself for a few weeks. Get back into normal pattern of eating, and I'm hoping it'll be okay.
No, I'm still on round status.
On what round status?
So I'm just going to be here.
By the way, have you had any dreams while I was away?
I've had lots.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, have you got any good ones?
They're all good.
Of course.
This one takes some describing, so you have to bear with me.
Okay.
Right. I was in a family home, so a bit like Parkdale. And people across the road were using a strip, not that kind of stripper, but like an acidic stripper.
Right.
Like an acid peel.
Oh, like for getting paint off?
Yes, but they were trying to get a sliver of silver off a mirror.
Right, okay.
Okay. Which all the slithers they've got, they then asked me if I could stitch them together.
Right.
Okay. So I was like, oh yeah, I can do that. I'll get my sewing machine out. I'll stitch a slithers of silver together. In the end, they bought a giant machine, and it looked like a cross between a top-loader washing machine,
right,
a sewing machine, and a serger. So if you can imagine, like
I can't at the minute, but carry on.
Top-loader washing machine, so it's got the lid at the top.
Yeah.
But there was a sewing machine in it. But all the threads, all the different threads like you'd get on a serger.
Yeah.
And then they were feeding the slithers of mirror through that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you like another one?
Yeah, go on, go for it.
I had got married the week before, but I wanted another wedding. So I went off in a taxi to the shops to buy another dress.
Okay.
There was no explanation for this. Just that's what I was doing. I had a teenager in the taxi with me.
Right.
Not anyone I knew. It was just a teenager.
Some random teenager.
Yeah. We were stuck in traffic, and the taxi driver said if we wanted him to take us through the traffic, then the youth had to throw his guitar out of the window. And I refused because I thought that was cruel. So we got out and got a bus.
It's cruel to make him throw his guitar out the window.
I was saying, you can't do that, because the teenagers was going, all right, then I'll throw. No, you can't throw it out. We'll get out, the pair of us. I'd obviously got attached to him at this stage, and we'll get the bus for my second wedding dress. I don't know.
That's one of the famous coughs. That's the first one
famous
this
cough,
time.
Yeah. Oh, I like this one.
Yes, she has been making note of these.
I have to, because if I don't write them down when I get up, I'm going to have to get some water first, and I'll give you one more. Paris 2020. This one I really like. I swam to work in a one-lane swimming pool. So it just had the one lane.
Yeah.
We worked, and then at lunchtime there was a can-can lesson in the hall. And the hall was in my school, because that's quite often happens. Yeah. As it was lunchtime, a friend went to get some chips for £2.50. I don't know, it was very specifically £2.50. And then we had
euros, pounds.
No, definitely pounds. Then we had to draw some kind of grid system before we could can. That's it.
You had to draw a grid system before you could can.
It was almost like, you remember the school hall when it'd have all the different courts marked out?
Yeah,
so it was like that, but we had to have an individual one round us before we could can. And I think I swam home again in the 1-lane swimming pool. That's cool, isn't it? I quite like a 1-lane swimming pool. Yeah. I know. I have more, but I'll save them.
Okay. Wait with that anticipation for those next time.
Marco, come on, get down. He's obviously feeling better, isn't he? Shall I get the kitten quickly?
Yeah. We're going to introduce Lottie. If she'll let you. She won't put up a fight, I don't think.
She hissed at Julie yesterday.
Is she?
She does like a tiny, tiny little hiss. She goes like that.
Here she is. Meet Lottie. And how did you come by Lottie?
It's Jan's fault. Because Jan has friends called Adam and Mark.
Yeah, you've heard us mention those before.
Yeah, and Adam obviously knew that Izzy had died and sent me a message and a picture saying my next door neighbour has had 3 kittens dumped in her barn. So we didn't know if they were dumped by the mummy or a farmer or something, because that does happen here, doesn't it? Farmers have cats for catch the mice.
Mark, are you jealous?
I think he wants to go back out.
Meow. It's life in Sharon's house. Yeah, so she's rescued another cat basically.
Yes, but when I got there, because I kept thinking, because I saw a picture of the 2 little kittens, and I thought, how am I going to leave one behind? So I was half expecting to come home with 2 kittens, but when I got there were 3, so I was happy to take one.
Didn't feel guilty leaving one on their own.
And leave the other 2. But so far we think it's a girl. We think it's a girl.
Yeah.
There's no fluffy appendages.
Some of you may remember the past history of Sharon and her animals being the wrong sex.
Trans animals, yeah. So she's called Lottie. If she does turn out to be a boy, it's going to be Monty.
Okay. So Marco and Monty you'd have, but
yes.
Yeah, Lottie, okay.
But we think it's a girl.
She is, mind you, we thought Marco was very pretty, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah.
When he was Margot.
Margot, yeah.
But, and that's the other thing in Crete, going back to the holiday.
Yes.
We was really surprised. Obviously there's stray cats everywhere, but the site we were on just had stray cats wandering around the site, and they weren't a problem. They didn't smell, they didn't jump up on the furniture, didn't jump up anything, and the people on the site looked after them.
Yes.
So they were quite sweet. And one day one of the cats turned up with her family, so there was these little kittens behind, and everybody's like, oh, I don't think there was anybody there that didn't enjoy these cats, to be perfectly honest. And in the dining hall in the evening they were there as well. But again, there wasn't a bother. They might sort of just sit there and make you feel guilty and can I have some food. But yeah, there was too many of them, and it's too normal to get bothered about by them. And just up the road, actually, opposite the church, there was a wasteland, and I noticed all these crates and that around, and someone had put like a little place for them to sleep. Oh. So there was one was like a dog kennel that they could sleep in, and they'd got all bowls out for food. I'd even put a little sign on it, the house for the cats. And then there was these other sort of crates with blankets in as well. So they do care about them. Yeah. But it's just a shame that no one's getting their cats neutered and stuff. So, but that's the way it is there. I mean, some sign you might see signs saying please don't feed the cats, because they're obviously feeding them as well. But when you've got them sitting there looking at you, some people found that quite hard.
How teeny were the kittens?
They were bigger than Lottie.
Oh, bigger than
Not
Lottie.
Much bigger, but they were a few weeks older than her.
Yeah,
but,
she's.
And I said to you, we fed one little kitten at breakfast, because up to them, I always think no, it's not good to do that. But someone the day before, or it might even have been that morning, this was lunchtime, had fed one, and it was a beautiful sort of tortoiseshell cat. They're very elegant looking cats, very long legs and that, these cats, and. She enjoyed it, and she was the mother of these kittens, so you thought, she needs that because she's still feeding. Yeah. Because you could tell, but as she come past, the little teats were there, so they weren't too much old. And so when we're not sure if it was one of hers from another litter, but this other one was very similar colouring to Lottie, we put some food down for it, and it went to eat it, and the mother come along. This other mother cat come along to get it. So when she'd gone, we put another bit down. Went straight for it, but then within minutes she was like gagging. I was like, oh my God, we've killed the cat. It felt really awful. What we done? Oh my God! But the staff were watching, and apparently they'd been concerned because this particular cat has obviously got a obstruction somewhere because not been able to eat properly. So we're talking about taking it to the vet. So we were offering to clear it up because we said it's our fault, but they said no, it's not your fault at all. So
I tell you what I've been doing since my friend Alison was here. I've been sucking on a fisherman's friend.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, that seems to have helped.
Do you know what we suck those for? Is it for anything throat related? Fisherman's friend, in case you didn't hear that,
is menthol and eucalyptus flavoured lozenges.
Oh, and they've helped.
They have helped.
Good. I've just given Sharon some, because we've come back and sort of winter in the garden really. Dug up a ton.
Bring a couple over.
Yeah, I've just dug up a ton of carrots, and not the last few, there's a couple more that might still be growing. There's my butternut. So Sharon's got some carrots, and when I come in I just said, I've saved you lots with legs and arms and willies.
See, maybe this is why you were dreaming about zombies last night.
Oh no, this was on holiday, but they do look very zombified, don't
because they? You could eat.
It's just there, see? There's still the dirt on them because...
Oh, it's authentic.
Do you know what? I left them in the garden. I've spread them all out on the table in the garden because I thought we'd dry the mud out and then it'll come off easier rather than bringing all the mud indoors.
Yeah.
And because it was really heavy dew last night, so it was still wet. Yeah.
It's definitely a person with one thick arm and one withered arm.
Yeah. He's got a little bit of tufty hair.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that bit's come off. There we go. It's good. I like it.
Couldn't get any fresher, put it that way.
I'm going to cook it like that.
Are you? Might take some time. Anyway, we've waffled on a bit this week, so we'll be joining you next week and maybe have something a bit more interesting. I'm sure you enjoyed our holiday chat anyway.
Yes.
But we've got lots of things we want to discuss and talk about, so we will see you next time. Bye. Gone already. Sharon has just reminded me, we forgot to tell you, we've both just had our flues cleaned.
It's always good to have an annual...
Yeah, we both had the chimney sweep here this morning, and at my house obviously, and cheeky bloke came to you first this time. He
did, and we were all sitting here in our pyjamas.
Was you?
And he didn't even... Well, Julie, our friends Max and Julie were here. Julie had gone out, I think, to feed my chicken, and she thought she said, just knock on the door, but he thought she said, just go in. So he was just like, bonjour! I was all right because I had my big fleecy thing on, but Max was just sitting there having her breakfast in her jammies, and she panicked.
She wasn't sat in her underwear.
She panicked. She was like, oh, I'm going upstairs. But yes, we both have very clean flues.
Yes. So we'd go, because we have two to do. We've got our own of the house and the sheet. But the sheet, there's usually like not even a bag full that comes out because the guests don't tend to use it very much.
No,
so
I don't think much comes out of my flue.
But we, our one, you seem to be there for quite a while cleaning that. But it's just frustrating having to pay for two, but we know there's not much coming out the second one, but he's still got to do the same job. So
yeah, and he's very good, and he's very clean and tidy.
Very clean. I did go round.
Hoovers everywhere.
I did go round touching a few surfaces to make sure, and there was a bit of dust, but I'm not sure if that was there before the holiday. So I just did a quick damp dust round, put the rugs and everything back down. But no, what he did, I don't know if he did it this of yours, but he got his mate to hold the hoover inside the fire while he was doing the bit. He was holding the hoover inside, so I suppose he's trying to catch a lot of it before it even comes out.
He put his hose up your flue.
He put his hose up my flue.
He didn't do that to me. I'm a bit jealous now.
Oh dear.
I'll do him an email next year.
Yeah.
and say, it's okay if you put your hoover up the flue as well. Jan particularly enjoyed that.
Well, it just made it was cleaner.
Yeah, and everybody needs a clean flue.